Hello, everyone. Let's get this show on the road.
Hello. So before we begin, just going to say, yeah, if you didn't see the tweet, Darion Senpai is not with us today because work and life. It's shitty.
Life comes first. Yes, so welcome everyone. I am Riley Arlick, the DM of our campaign, where these plucky VTubers are going to roll dice and not die. So because Starion is not here, Quinn will have a mission on their own that we'll say, because we don't want to just have Starion like lumped into a bag or something like that. That would not bode well. Are we ready to dive in?
You ready to die? What? Excuse me?
Yes, we are ready.
Are we ready to die?
We're ready to die.
Roll some really awful death saves? I'm ready. Starting our campaign today, you all awake in a bit of cold sweat. Clume, you find that Quinn has already left. Even before the crack of dawn. And has left you a hastily written note that instructs you to meet up with the rest of the group and compare notes with the rest of them. All of you, through your own, epiphanies or decisions, whether you brush off the dream as nothing, or whether you think this is prophetic, or whether it's just another bad dream in a string of bad dreams, you decide it's time to get some breakfast and you meet up together at the Axe and Boot Tavern. You arrive in the Axe and Boot. It's an early morning for all of you. You can see a couple familiar faces that are regulars at the Axe and Boot, and maybe a few new faces in the crowd. Warren, Adre, and Urist, you're already sitting together. Urist, you see your friend Adre, who may have gone home or may have just slept here. You don't know. Old man naps are fickle and strange.
Fickle and strange.
So, what are we seeing? What are we waiting for?
So it's early morning. Perhaps you're waiting on breakfast. Seems that the tavern is as you remember it. It looks like repairs have begun on some of the holes. There are stacks of lumber next to one wall that are being prepared for repairing, probably later this day, if the carpenters have anything to say about it.
Good. Repairs would be a good thing at this point. So, First is more or less just sitting back for the moment. Having already properly tuned the set of bagpipes for the day, she's honestly just waiting for things to start.
Alright. So, Clume, it's probably right about then that you walk in, note in hand.
She does not walk in.
Oh, okay, very good. What do you do?
So, Clume is currently on the, what do you call it? Like, right by the entrance to the tavern. Because, like, the doors are always kept wide open when they're in their open hours.
Yeah.
And, she pokes her head in, notices the gang at their usual table, and she looks down at her note and kind of like folds it really neatly, but then hides it in her hair anyway. Okay. And she it takes a big deep breath, takes a step in, and trips and falls.
Oh, bonk!
Oh no.
That sounded like it hurt.
This is what happens when Quinn's not here.
Yeah. Okay, so do you get right back up, or do you stay down
Clume
and just start crying like a big baby?
She stays there for like a solid 2 or 3 seconds, and you hear very loud, as she gets up, she dusts herself off, and then just walks out, and then sits back where she originally was.
First heaves a little sigh and then rises from her chair. All right, I'm gonna go see what that's all about.
Warren is just sitting there like, oh. He's a little shaken up a bit by the fact that he had that dream. He's back in his using breakfast as part of his conspiracy board. he keeps it on his plate though.
Again.
He's keeping it on his plate. He's just he's mumbling to himself, trying to figure out how his first dream connects with the second one.
At this point, as Erst is more or less standing next to Warren and having patted the shoulder, Erst sort of turns towards Clume and goes, You can join us at the table if you like, lass.
No thanks, this spot's good. And she kind of like hides up behind the face of the chair.
Ernst ponders for a second, then slowly looks over to Adre. Say, is that a new type of mushroom grown out of Adre's mushroom cap over there?
Whom does not raise up.
Damn.
But then that's when you see her hand raise up with a piece of paper.
Perception.
Is that for us?
You can read it if you want.
Alright, Ernst accepts the paper, gingerly, as one might from a startled cat.
It's a note from Quinn explaining that he wanted to investigate the tree more closely, and for you all to see what Captain Daner wants, and that he will return later to compare notes, effectively.
Ah, it is a note from Quinn, and okay, I'm just joking. I'm not gonna read.
Adre, what are you doing during all this?
Honestly, Adre's just slowly eating a piece of toast.
Slowly.
Wait, here's the question though: butter or jam?
Oh, both.
Okay, there.
Oh,
I can respect that.
Okay.
But it not in the like feeble old man way, just in the always too tired for this.
Yeah.
Like,
Yeah.
I don't get paid enough to deal with this shit.
Slow chewing. Yeah.
Adre's been too old for this for like 100 years.
Yeah.
Okay. So, Uris, now that you have this note, you've read it, you've told the others about it, what do you do?
Well, having told them of it, Ernst gives a nod. Well, once you're all finished with your meals or otherwise ready to go, it looks like we're gonna have to go speak to Lodenor.
It's a simple jog, and you make your way through the crowds to the barracks. There, a guard, recognizing you, welcomes you in, guides you up to the office of the captain of the guard, and Captain Daenor is there with a big mug of coffee of his own and a frown on his ever-frowning face.
It just gets a little bit frownier every day.
Just a little bit frownier. He beckons you all in. Come sit. We have to discuss something.
So Warren, by the way, Warren has his pet rock under his arm.
Oh my god. He still has that?
He doesn't quite, because he was in a bad mood after the tree incident, so he doesn't quite remember how he got the rock. He doesn't remember that, it was handed to him. And so he has made the connection in his mind that the rock is like it just sort of, because he can't quite remember where it came from. I was like, it must be related to the tree. So I got to keep it with me because, rocks and mountains, right? That was that part of the dream I had.
Captain Daner makes a note. He counts 1, 2, 3, 4. There was a fifth of you, wasn't there?
Quinn is out already looking at the tree once again and will be joining us a little later.
Well, that handles one part of what I was hoping to address. It seems that your antics have caught a bit of a trail. You see, another group came in last night. They were people that work for a lady named Lysithia Daminor. Now, Lysithia Daminor, half-elf woman, she's a landlord. She and her family are part of the Upper Noble District, and they own quite a lot of land that, as you know, they tax, or rent, or what have you. And it looks like she's looking to expand her influence. Apparently, this group discovered the same tree, brought it to my attention. I thanked them for their work, and then they announced that they were working for this particular woman. Apparently as some sort of contractors or something along that line. The reason that I am worried about this is because Lysithea Daminor does not usually work in the interests of Arcala as a whole like I do. She very much is a woman that will get something, use it once, and throw it away.
And what exactly is she taking an interest in?
It sounds like, from the information that I was given, that she is interested in expanding Arcala by finding other safe havens inhabited by people outside of the walls. She seems to believe that there may be some tribes of people that have found ways to coexist. She wants to own that land before anybody else does.
I'm guessing you want us to beat them to it?
Ideally, yes. The last thing that I want is Lysithea Daminor and her thugs taking advantage of some people that may not know about how the politics inside the walls work. If you can find them, warn them, what have you, and hey, if you can learn anything about how to fight off monsters, how to survive beyond the walls, that would be excellent, especially for my guard and the keepers that work outside the walls regularly. There was a sighting that was reported to me. One of my guards up on the wall said that he saw a couple of people discussing something with someone that did not look to be from Arcala. So if I were you, I would start my search maybe to the northwest where that sighting happened. Oh, wait, no, hold on. He checks his notes. Northeast. I apologize.
Checks his notes. It's like, wait. I hope the temples I frequent will be able to deal without me. Which I'm sure they're all like, oh, thank God. The Lord didn't show up today.
In every temple in the city, chimes have suddenly gone off on their own.
Right.
For this one day, for the entire year, every church just like dances in harmony.
Warren's like, wait, I forgot my things, comes back, everyone stops partying.
It's like, oh.
To that end, Greggy and Dainor guides you out. Gives you each a backpack. And inside this backpack, I will type in the chat as well.
Whoa. Getting
backpack.
content?
Yeah, you are getting some smokeless fire sticks.
Ooh.
Some bedrolls, as well as some flasks of scent masking fluid. Greg and Daner kind of pauses, gives a nod, and then turns and looks at you all, and you can see that there's a little bit of concern in his eyes. And he just says, listen, be careful out there. These sorts of missions, I've sent good men, capable people out there. And they don't come back. So, more than anything, mission number 1 is come back alive. You head out to the campsite that you found before. That's where you start. The kind of remains of a campsite that was purposefully hidden away, where you found various practice objects that somebody had apparently been practicing runic magic on. And you do indeed pick up on a trail. Footprints, a few days old by now, maybe a little under a week old, and leading to the northeast, as Captain Dainor had said. Picking up on this trail, you see it seems to have 2 feet and a hole in the ground that you kind of suss out may have been a staff. Somebody walking with a staff or a walking stick of some kind. It takes time and effort to follow this trail. You see how they seem to go through various deer tracks and other things, and there's a few places where the trail is almost lost. It doesn't look very much like somebody has worked very hard to hide their tracks. This is a person that feels pretty confident or otherwise pretty oblivious to hiding their trail beyond the walls. It's about this area, this kind of rocky trail. It looks like a path that's been beaten more by wildlife than by people. You get trails like this when wild pigs will run through an area, or when deer will, kind of regularly make their various circuits around a wooded area. And so you have this relative clearing where the trail begins to run a bit cold. It's becoming harder and harder to distinguish between the footsteps of this person that you're following versus the other footsteps of the animals.
You know what Warren's gonna do? Warren just had a great idea.
Okay.
And by a great idea, I
no.
mean a stupid idea. So
Before Warren does his idea, because we all know what could come out of it, Plume kind of walks over to Audrey, kind of like pulls on his wizard robes, kind of like how he pulls on Quinn's armor, and kind of like motions him to come down so she can whisper to him.
With a grunt and strain, the old man leans in. Yes, little one.
Should we be letting Warren take lead?
Warren needs an adult.
Warren is what we call a distraction.
He's what you use to find traps with.
Oh, God.
Colloquially known as a meat shield.
Plume kind of just gives like a big sigh, and she doesn't release on Audrey's rope. She kind of just like clings onto it and then keeps moving when he moves.
Oh, look at
That
that.
gives her little mushroom a pat.
Oh. So what is Warren's idea here?
So he's like, you know what? There's rocks around here. You know what I have? A rock. You know what? My rock has a rune. Therefore, these rocks might have runes. So he's gonna just, without even checking, right? He zones in on a rock, and he just runs up to these different rocks, and he just like starts like pushing them around, checking them over, pulling them, looking for runes to see if there's any that match the one on his rock.
So, wow. Go ahead
and this is when you die.
and make for me a strength check.
Oh boy.
Oh, the one thing you can do
He
consistently.
better be. I know the last time he made a strength check, I rolled a 1.
Yeah, you did say that you're pushing him around and trying to see all the various sides of him. Okay, great. So
17.
you managed to push this rock over to check the underside because you didn't see any runes on the outside of it from what you can see.
Okay.
You push this rock over, and underneath is a den of snakes
Oh my fucking god!
that now are all kind of suddenly moving, suddenly in motion now that their den has been exposed.
Perfect.
They don't seem to react to you very much as they try to they're just disturbed. They're all in kind of a tizzy.
So Warren just looks at him, puts his hands on his his one free hand on his hip, and he's like, "That's not what I wanted to find."
Yeah. So what do you do?
Drop the rock right on top.
Back away slowly,
Can
love.
he just push the rock back on top of him?
Do you do it carefully? Okay, you do it carefully.
He'll
Okay.
try to do it slowly.
All right, you place the rock back slowly. You see one snake slithers out from underneath and goes to find another rock to hide under.
It's like, this one had snakes, not runes. Next.
Yeah.
It just goes in
Okay.
the big pile of rocks or explodes.
Okay.
Warren, you shouldn't be touching these rocks.
But how will I inspectinate them? For runes! You see, this rock had a rune on it. Therefore, the person we're looking for might also put runes on other rocks.
Well, that is smart for someone of your caliber.
Thank you.
But of course.
You probably shouldn't be touching random rocks that nature placed because. And then she points to the rock at the snakes underneath. You could be destroying other people's houses.
I put it back, it was fine.
Yeah, but you probably upset them. What if they were sleeping? Would you like if someone disturbed you while you were sleeping?
And so he sits there and he thinks, is like, wait, but the gods disturb us in our sleep with dreams, therefore.
Therefore, you should leave them alone so that way they can get back to sleep they lost.
I wonder
Warren,
what
make a
damaged the
perception
room.
check.
Uh-oh. Uh-oh. He's not very perceptive. Oh
Great.
boy, it's based on wisdom.
Yep.
Oh, boy.
Zero!
Zero! He is too caught
Oh,
up in the fact that
God.
he's too
Literal
excited.
0.
He is ready to find this room. Finally.
Okay.
Was a fucking zero.
I love it. This couldn't go perfectly.
Mm.
Anything
Continue
but the
doing
rest
what
of
you're
us should
doing.
be.
Just disregard the man behind the black box.
Excellent.
Yep.
He's just gonna keep looking around for like. He's not gonna like. He's only gonna push the rocks over if he can't find a rune.
So you are like, all right. While Warren is searching for his own thing, let's all actually try to pick up the trail of the task at hand.
Let's do something
Um,
actually productive.
So in the immediate area, you're looking for tracks. It's difficult to tell in the area that you're currently searching to distinguish between human tracks or tracks of what may have been pigs or a herd of deer or something along those lines. So you continue along, and which kind of direction do you go? More
Warren's
north,
gonna
more
go
south?
right
You're gonna go there. Okay.
Yeah, we're just gonna follow the.
The him to go.
Well,
Just watch him
staying a
poke around
couple feet
rocks.
back.
the bipedal bloodhound.
Yeah.
Bloodhound.
He's doing his thing.
He's doing his best.
Now, this rock wall, however, this kind of rocky
Goddamn him to go.
area up here, you do notice a variety of holes appear to have been carved out of the rock face.
Well, seeing that there's something carved out, he's gonna be like, "Oh, I'm gonna look in there." Oh,
Okay. You look in the hole, and I need you to make a dexterity check.
oh. Make a perception check.
Dexterity
Dexterity.
check.
A dexterity check. Okay, gotcha. All right, Warren, you can do it, buddy. Oh wow.
Hey.
Oh, wow.
Nice.
You
Got a
just managed to dodge being
19.
struck by a snake.
Oh my god.
Oh god. Roll 17.
You bring yourself to head level to this this serpent, or to the hole that this serpent had made as its own, and it strikes out at you and just barely manages to graze your nose. What do you do?
Well, the snake aggressed. He's gonna slap it back, or he's gonna try it.
You're gonna slap it. Okay, go ahead and make an attack roll.
Christ.
It's like, whoa. Actually, he's gonna not realizing, forgetting he doesn't have his weapon, right? He's got his rock in one of his hands, so he just tries to beam this thing over the head with a rock,
Okay.
accidentally mistaking it for, his hammer.
All right. Make a strength check would be your attack roll.
Okay.
No proficiency bonus because, yeah, you miss.
Improvised weapon.
All right.
Yeah, improvised weapon. The snake
Got a
coils
7.
back
Right.
and tries to strike at you
Horse
again.
noodle. Danger noodle. The
Do,
spicy
do,
noodle.
do we witness this going on? Like,
Yeah, you hear it. You hear a clonk of rock on rock, and then you look over, and there's a snake. That what's your AC there, Warren?
Not that high. It's what, 19?
Okay.
No, it's 20. It's 20. His AC is 20, so dang.
Great. Then here
you
is what is
function?
going to happen. You're going to get nibbled on a little bit. Does. It does 6 damage,
Oh my.
and
I know what's
you need to
coming.
make a DC 11 Constitution saving throw.
Constitution.
Constitution.
Consultation.
Got a 14.
Okay, you
Uh.
just avoid it. So you take
Like half of the damage.
4 damage of poison.
Oof.
Now I need you all to roll initiative.
Great.
Excellent. So, with giant serpents apparently to deal with,
Oh boy.
so if I were to move over here or so, would I be able to make it out?
Yes, you should be able to see it there.
Okay.
Punch in a hole.
God.
Ernst will go ahead and move up, drawing her hand crossbow as she goes, and then proceed to let's go ahead and cast Vicious Mockery at it. On the
Okay.
principle of the thing.
On the principle. Do it to it.
All right. Ahem. Oi, you scaly noodle, unhand him. He's ours. He's ours, and you don't get to touch him.
You
Okay.
soppy wet rope noodle.
You've got the right feel.
Does
DC
vicious
what do you say?
mockery?
It's a DC 12 Wisdom save, or take 3 psychic damage and disadvantage on the next attack on its turn.
Ooh,
I just like it
okay.
takes psychic
A wisdom
damage.
save.
He's insulted so hard. So then, bonus action, Warren's gonna Shield of Faith himself.
Okay.
He just believes in the power of rock really, really hard.
Yes.
Power of God
And he gets
in
plus 2
anime.
AC. Yep.
Exactly. And then he's going to drop his rock and pull out his actual hammer, realizing that he slapped the snake with or missed the snake with a rock.
Yep.
And he's gonna try to actually attack it.
Okay, do it to it. Very good. That does hit. Roll up your damage.
Excellent.
15. Let's go.
Nice.
9.
9 damage. Oh yeah.
Okay.
Bonk.
You get a good hit on this snake,
Dude,
and
so-
it recoils. So does the snake's turn. The snake does
Snake.
not like what's happening right now with all of this weird magic and things like that, but it seems to be unable to go any further into its den. It knows it must escape. And so it slithers out and begins to wrap around the other side of Warren and tries
Uh-oh.
to bite him.
Come at me, bro. Come at me, bro.
Let's roll that up. See if I can get through your AC.
Jesus.
25. I think
Well, if
that
you
does
roll a
get through your AC.
19, yeah.
No.
No. That's right. He has disadvantage. That's
Try that again.
Good call. Good call.
Thank you. Jesus.
There it is.
Yeah.
15. Okay.
15 does not
There
hit.
So that takes away the disadvantage. At the very least. So it attempts to do that, slithering out of its home, trying to give you another good bite, and then trying to position itself over here, rearing back and slithering up, hissing loudly into the area. Very, very scary sound indeed.
So since I'm hidden potentially from the snake,
Mm-hmm.
would that mean my attack gets advantage? I don't really hide that often. Would that mean my attack gets advantage since he is unaware of me, or?
I'll give it
That's
to you.
how I-
Yeah,
Okay.
I'll give it to you. Yeah, go ahead.
Okay. Also, I will say this is probably exactly why I chose Goblin, because not because of my fascination with goblins or anything. Nope, definitely not that. But because of the bonus action hide cheese that you could do.
Yes.
All right, so I'm going to attack with Chill Touch again,
Okay. Very good.
and
Click advantage before you roll. Yep, there you
Yeah.
go. Oh,
that's
that
a
does
18
hit.
and a 21.
There we
7
go.
necrotic damage.
Okay. You send out your hand, and it grasps this serpent, strangling its heart, where it twitches and flails, and eventually rolls over and perishes.
Hey, let's go.
Yes. You have defeated the snake that Warren agitated.
Take that, nature.
Take that, nature. Adre and Urist make perception checks.
All
Good call.
right.
Oh,
19.
Very nice.
And 5.
Five, okay. So, Urist, you pick up on it pretty quick. There's a rustling from the south, and because you rolled so high, you spot through the brush a bear is approaching. The bear shuffles slowly forward, gets to about here, its nose twitching, sniffing the air. It's still on all fours, kind of swinging its head slowly this way, kind of
Free
slowly
snake.
that way. Yeah, it looks at Clume, it looks at Adre, it looks at Urist, it sniffs, it looks at Warren, it makes a little bit of a kind of sound. What do you do?
Well, it hasn't attacked Warren yet, so Warren just doesn't care. He's gonna go
Okay.
up
Out
against
of
the
the
rock.
way.
Adre gets out of the way. Okay.
We're gradually moving. Warren, come here.
See, picks up his rock and is like, oh, okay. Just,
Yeah.
he's right there.
Okay. Bear kind of starts to circle around, giving you guys a bit of a berth. There's a moment where it pauses as you guys kind of stop around that area or starting to move around and it looks at you.
With a rock.
It snuffles. It goes.
Just gonna slowly keep on backing away.
Okay.
Clune kind of like completely, out of character, like how people normally see her. She's just like, whatever, and kind of just like follows Udis.
Okay.
Warren he doesn't perceive any threat. He's just looking around. He sees the bear and he's like, that's just a bear. And he just he's just looking at the like rock wall up here. Like, see if
Does
he
he
can
follow?
spot.
Okay.
No, he's just looking around.
He's just looking around. The bear is looking around. Yeah.
Warren's just like, why?
Because the bear is because you're making the bear nervous. You're an awfully big lad.
He looks at the bear and is like, no, look, he's absolutely tame. Look at that. This is fine.
Plume at this point conjures up an ice dagger in her hand, and she's like, Warren, here, now.
It's like, that's how you die. Oh, jeez. It's like, all right, fine. Jeez. I don't understand why everyone's so upset. It's just a bear.
Bear is kind of watching you move.
You've upset enough nature today.
That snake attacked me
listening.
first.
Okay.
Let's just start looking around.
Warren just kind
We
of
got our own stuff to look for. Let the bear look for its thing.
completely ignoring the bear. He just goes on. He goes over these rocks. And he's like, continues his rocky search. Yeah, Warren pet the bear. Everyone wants Warren to pet the bear. I would pet the bear.
Everyone wants Warren to do the dumbest things ever.
It's just pet the bear. It'd be fine.
You do start to pick up signs of the trail again.
Yes.
Aha!
Yes. It seems as you kind of get around to here, you can see that whoever you've been following apparently has headed straight east from here.
And then Plume kind of points into, like the sparse forest. And she's like, Warren!
But he's just so pettable. Look at him.
Let's go!
He's fluffy and brown.
He's fluffy and brown.
The bear moves on, living its bear life.
Oof.
Having children with a father bear, raising 3 happy pups. And eventually, years from now, passing away in the warmth of its family, returning to the earth, dust to dust, ash to ash.
Man, we got a whole epilogue for the bear.
Such is the happy life of the bear. I'm trying to satisfy chat, all right? I'm trying to...
There you go, chat. You've got bear lore.
And one of
Got
our bear
bear
cubs
lore.
got into law school.
You press on. You've picked up the trail again, and you push on as far as you're able while the light is good. Eventually, you are forced to pause in your trek because it's getting too dark to follow the trail reliably. So you start to look for a place that would make a decent camp, and you find a spot near a small creek that is flowing from north to south. The gentle sounds of the water helping to mask the sounds of you all setting up your camp. So you can go ahead and move your icons over to this little camp that I've set up for you all.
How nice.
You get a small fire going with the smokeless sticks, and to their credit, they produce no smoke.
I would hope
they-
so. Roasting
yeah,
would be fun.
The fire is relatively dim, but quite warm. Good enough to warm food or prepare whatever you wish that you've brought with you in terms of rations. You manage to put together a small tent. You lay out the bedrolls that were given to you by the captain of the guard, and you have yourself before sunset a small campsite.
If you're feeling confident about taking the entire watch and won't tell you no, you don't seem to do as much sleeping as we do.
Just after I eat.
The old man
man
naps are
nap.
optional, but he always takes them.
Yeah.
The night calls of various animals begins to pick up as night falls over this region of Vanzir. And with Adre taking watch, do you all go to sleep?
Yes.
That
Yes.
once Warren's like, yep, this he has done everything. He has observed, and now he's sleepy time. He does the
Sleepy time.
he does sleepy time.
Well, Clume kind of just like, originally she was on her other bedroll, and kind of just looking around. She kind of just like scoots her butt over to Adre, and just sits right next to him, and she's like, "So, why can't you sleep?"
I don't actually need to. I haven't for a very long time.
She stares at him and like, "Are you one of those sentient zombies?"
No, not quite.
She kind of like shrugs her shoulders. She doesn't want to like start bugging people for their backstory and stuff like that because everyone has something they want to hide. And she's kind of just like, "Do you think Quinn will be able to catch up with us?"
Yeah. He's got those long legs. I don't see him having any issue running after us.
That's fair. And she kind of like looks over towards Warren and looks back at Audrey like, "Are you friends with him?"
I don't really have many friends.
So I don't have the words to describe Warren.
Yeah. Warren is Warren.
He's useful. He does what he needs to do, and that's about.
He's reliable.
He's reliable. He's reliable to get into trouble.
Yeah, she moans herself, "Reliable my ass."
Okay.
Role play.
With that, Adre, it is time to roll a perception check
Oh no.
for taking the watch.
Oh no!
no! There's the one.
Oh.
The first round's the first generic time period's perception is not doing so hot.
Great.
So what's the total there, Adre?
That would be a 3.
3. A natural 1 plus 2.
Now-
The night drags on. You go into your meditative state. Resting, but keeping aware.
Yes.
Sort of.
You hear the gentle crackle as the fire dies down, the burbling creak in the distance, the gentle squeaking of bats as they hunt bugs in the night air, and the snoring of your compatriots as they rest in the open area of this wilderness. You suddenly feel something cold pressed to the side of your neck. Get
All of our
this.
necks?
Just to Adre's neck.
Oh, baby. No, suddenly entire panda.
He got that fucking close. Well, he did roll that one.
he just walked right up. It was like, man, that's easy. Skyrim stealth right. Oh, baby.
Oh, baby.
Oh, baby. No.
This one. You feel something cold pressed to the side of your neck, and before you can even move, to
That's just
swat
stuck.
away whatever bug or other thing that you may think it is. A voice hisses to you, "Don't move."
Word. I wonder if Warren would even wake up.
Remaining.
Oh, the rest of them are silent as death.
Oh, okay. Okay, gotcha. Aggressively boop the intruder.
What do you do, Adre?
Remain completely still.
It's like, all right, buddy. Talk our way out of this one, please.
Jesus.
I believe in
The-
you.
Pull a fucking warning and cast a spell at them.
Right. The person by you realize has a knife pressed to your neck.
Yep.
And there's another figure that approaches, hidden partially by the brush, but standing
Forgot.
solemnly in front of you.
Cast my ball.
You make out the shape of a person with a robe and a mask over their face. In the very, very dim light of night, you can see that the mask has a horizontal slit, and eyes glow from behind that slit. It makes a motion to the person with the knife pressed to your neck, and that person whispers quietly into your ear, "What are you doing here?"
We're searching for people living outside the walls.
Searching for what purpose?
To find where they are and how they're doing it.
There's a long stretch of silence. Very little movement. But you get the impression that there is a silent communication passing between the person beside you and the person across from you. Perhaps a leader or coordinator of some sort. Another whisper. "You wish to know how we survive without walls.
We wish to, yes.
You come so far from your walls. Are your walls no longer sufficient?" You can detect a little bit of mirth, a little bit of sarcasm in his voice.
The walls will hold, but population grows. Walls are protective but also stifling.
Yes. Your people have tried to pass the walls before, and they have failed.
Oh, trust me, I know. I tried to make a life outside the wall. Didn't turn out.
There's another stretch of silence. Silent communication. He turns to you, slowly pulls the dagger away, moves himself so that you can see him, and gestures with his knife at your comrade sleeping. You can make out other figures in the shadows standing beside your comrades. Make a fuss, they will die.
I won't cause any problems.
You are a wise old man.
You don't get
You
to this
are-
age by making stupid decisions.
It's probably the best thing that they woke up Adre and no one else.
He looks at you closely. You can see red glowing eyes behind his mask, very similar to that of whatever leader stands silently across from you. But a different mask and different clothes. A little more like wraps that cling tightly to a lithe humanoid form. Slowly puts his knife away. He looks you over and says, "I recognize you. You tried to make a structure outside the walls."
Pub and inn, yes.
Inn. An inn, you call it. A place of rest, I know.
Yes.
What made you think you could do that?
Well, I had more drive than sense, and the promise of protection from people higher up than me who, well, they weren't there when I needed them.
Interesting. Now you come out here to make another inn?
No, those days are behind me.
So
I'm
you-
just...
A goblin, a dwarf, whatever that is. You come out to the wilderness. You seek people that survive out here. Well, we have found you. What would you ask?
How do you do it? How do you survive against the monstrosities that walk the land?
How do we do it? There's another moment of silent communication. You can kind of see he's making a motion as if he's considering it, even as he defers to the person across from you.
Is there a roll I can make to try and maybe discern how they're communicating?
You can try an insight check or an investigation check.
Let's do investigation. 14.
14. So the first thing that you notice is that there doesn't seem to be, there's no hand signals.
Okay.
So that kind of takes away the idea of there being a sign language at play. The masks completely cover their face, so there's no lip reading. Either there is something innate about whatever sort of being this is, or they speak in a tone that is too soft for you to hear, but that somehow they can hear. It strikes you that this is likely something supernatural or magical at play, rather than a physical, logical explanation.
In that case, would I be able to make an Arcana check?
Go for it.
Okay.
Wizard powers go. Oh,
20!
baby.
Oh.
Natural 20.
25.
Very nice.
You hijacked
yeah.
the communication channel.
Yeah.
I'm in.
In your studies, you have read about items that allow people to communicate over any sort of distance, silently through thought, or as silent as a whisper. And it occurs to you that this person may have one of those items on them, but without seeing what's causing, what's allowing them to communicate so quietly or so silently. That's as best an educated guess as you can get. The figure slowly steps forward, seems to glide almost, making no sound as it walks through the brush, and slowly kneels down. You can see a lithe figure underneath the robe. And they speak. We survive by surviving.
You don't say.
You
We
don't.
do not. We do not live as you do with your walls. We do not eat food that we grow. We do not have a home to call our own. We must move, and we must struggle every day. This
You're
is how
nomads.
we live beyond walls, or forests, or swamps, as the people of the cities do. Do you wish to live as we do? I think not.
I don't know that our people would want to live that way, but I think that it would be good to have friends who do.
Friends. I see the people of Arkala have forgotten about us. Yes.
Oh.
We can be friends with you, old man.
But only you. Your friends die. Wow.
Do you want to be our friends?
I think it would be preferable to the alternative. For certain.
Let us become friends.
It's
He
like
turns
it's friends or
to
enemies,
the-
man. What are you?
the one beside you, who kind of gives you a gentle tap and says, "Hold out your hand."
Oh
Okay,
boy.
Audrey holds out his hand.
He's gonna get inducted into this.
The nomad beside you that was holding a knife to your neck places his hand over yours and then presses it slowly down until it hits a hard surface on the ground, the ground or a rock or something like that. Keeps his hand there, takes his knife, and stabs through his hand and into yours.
Ow. Ow. The friend knows, though.
Yeah, take 4 points of piercing damage.
Ow. Ooh.
Ow.
And I need you to make a Constitution saving throw to not shout.
Oh, God.
Oh, God. Here we go.
God.
No.
Stay.
That's a 6. Uh-oh.
Ooh. Okay. You yelp out in pain. I need the rest of you all to make perception checks in your sleeping state.
Come on, 0.
Jesus Christ.
I'm not sure in this edition if that's just advantage or a hefty, disadvantage or a hefty.
It will be a
penalty or
very
what.
low DC, is what it will be.
I got a 3.
Oh my
Okay.
fucking God. Okay, wait, did I roll?
17.
I didn't.
Okay.
Wait, how did I roll? I didn't even click anything.
Yeah, I don't know how that happened. You just suddenly had an 8. Do you want to go with that, or do you want to try rolling again, or
I'll
what?
try again, but
Okay,
I
go ahead and try
didn't
again.
click anything.
Okay,
That's an
all right.
18.
Warren continues. Choo, choo.
Does not care.
Does not care at all. Urist and
Should've been
Plume,
stabbed.
you hear a shout of Audrey, a pained shout, and immediately wake up. What do? You
Yeah,
open your
so-
eyes, and you feel there's something cold and sharp pressed to your neck.
Okay. So, wow, when she feels like something that's cold and sharp on her neck. All right. I'm gonna rub my hands real fast. I'm not gonna metagame. We are going to cast.
Okay.
Let me see. This is going to destroy my betting, but oh wow. I am going to cast
Exactly.
Thunder Wave,
Thunderwave. Okay.
and I'll probably do this at let's do this at a first level. So that's
okay, so
6
you need to make
damage
DC.
on a DC 13 con save. They take half as much on a failed save. Successful save.
Okay, so they fail.
Okay, so then they also, I believe, get pushed back 10 feet.
10 feet. Pow!
And-
Knocked backwards.
The moment she casts it,
Mm-hmm.
she takes off her blanket
Okay.
and immediately grabs her staff and stands up.
Okay, very good. So, while this is happening, Urist, you hear a shout, Audrey's voice, piercing through the fog of your dreams. You wake up. What do?
Does Urst rather feel anything else?
Yes, you also feel the touch of cold steel against your neck.
Warren's gonna die.
Okay, let's see. How would Urst react to? Urst is more the diplomatic sort. So Urst probably gets. Urst is immediately searching with their eyes in the dark for whoever has them at knife point, and while sort of surreptitiously trying to scooch a hand closer to under the blankets, is going to comment. I'd much prefer it if that were a little further off.
As
Which
you
is
say that,
probably
you hear the
interrupted by-
explosion. Yeah, boom! A rumbling sound of thunderblast. the thunder wave sound effect that happens and the crashing of wood. A hand, even as you speak, grabs one of your arms to hold it steady, and then the knife presses a little bit more firmly. Adre, you hear kind of a hiss of disappointment from the figure in front of you, as your hand and the hand of one of the assailants are, for the moment, joined by this knife. The other person looks back, looks to be doing another bit of silent communication, and notices the goblin quickly hisses out, "Quiet, unless you want your friends to die."
I'm going to call out to them, not like a yell, but just loudly enough for them to hear, "Stop, stop. I'm handling this."
Whisper.
I'm handling it. Guys, don't ruin this.
Shoo! Shoo!
Man, whoever got
okay,
is
Gloom,
having
what
the
do you do?
easiest day. God,
Well, my question is, does Clume hear it?
Yeah, it's right next to you. You would hear
Okay.
Adre's voice.
Okay. Would I see the two figures?
Yes.
Okay. So, Clume kind of like lifts her staff and points it at the two figures she sees. And what do you call it? And she says, "Who the hell are you?" But she says it loud enough so that way the other two could hear.
Okay, good. There is definitely a tightening, especially on Urist. The one that is by Warren in the gloom. Urist, you can see, but maybe Clume can't see so easily. You can see them looking around a little bit, anxiously. Warren is still sleeping, and so they're just like, "Well, I got the easy position here."
This is
Like, easy payday for me.
Yeah, easy payday for me. The one with the dagger in Adre's hand lifts it slowly, and it slides free with no pain. The hand is pulled away, and you see that a mark has been left upon both the palm and back of your hand in the shape of the dagger piercing, a long straight line in between your first and second knuckle. The leader of the bunch kind of watches Clume warily, but turns to Adre and says, "Yes, we will be friends now, and you will return to your walls, and we will be..." She looks to her compatriots. "In touch."
Uh-oh.
There was another, not one of ours, a group like yours, strange group of individuals
Uh-oh.
seeking us out. This is unusual that Akala is so interested in expanding so soon after last time.
Now, just to check, is this loud enough that the rest of us can hear?
Make a perception check.
Me too, or
Yes, if you would like.
All right, let's see what we get.
And that
Oh,
20
wow.
day.
2.
Wow.
you definitely heard that.
Damn.
Woo! Yeah.
You said perception, right?
Perception, yep.
9. Real.
Barry, you're getting the gist of it. Like, whenever the wind picks up, a couple words disappear. Urist, you are very familiar with perhaps the skill of picking out words out of a crowd, and so you hear it all clear as day. The one that stabbed your hand puts his dagger away again and takes a step backwards. Gestures to the others, who also pull away. Urist, you feel the hand letting go of your arm. The other one kind of steps out from the gloom, dusts himself off, and gives Clume a wide berth. He moves out of position.
Clume's like, oh, you go first.
Erst, still lying on the ground, raises a finger past the blanket to sort of point up in the air, and then comments, "If it's all the same to you, There are a couple of questions I'd like answered.
There's another moment of silence. And the figure steps in a way that you get a better view of them. You can see the long robes that they're wearing, a shawl, ceremonial style, over their shoulders, and the mask, mostly plain. It seems to have been engraved in very geometric shapes, with the horizontal slit showing you those red eyes. They speak loud enough for you to hear more comfortably. We are, as your friend says, nomads.
That answers about half of the questions. Urist slowly sits up, shuffling a bit of the bedroll off and making sure that her hands are visible as she just sits up, clearly not going into like full combat or anything. She's just literally sitting up.
Okay, very good.
Adre, new friends of yours, I take it?
Yep.
Yep.
favoring that arm, that hand, doing the like open and closing of the fingers to
Like,
That's good.
Yeah.
That's good. If you don't mind me being so bold, what are you called?
Ghostbusters.
As I said, we are called in your tongue, nomads.
I was hoping for a name, but that's perhaps not necessary. I will, however, tell you mine while I'm thinking about it. I'm Urist. Nodding to the others. Adre in the hat. Clume with the green skin.
The moment before Udis has a chance to say Clume's name,
Mhm.
Clume shouts back, "Don't say my name."
As you wish.
And like she's still like keeping guard, staring, like constantly shifting her glance to every single one of the members, just trying to see if anyone tries to like make any swift moves.
They're all standing. A couple of them have staves, very much like a walking stick of some sort. The leader has no visible weapons, but that is because they are covered in robes. You can kind of they tilt their head just a little as they glance between Clume and Urist. And finally they speak. My name is Gatha. And these are my nomads.
Gatha. It is a surprise and a pleasure to be making your acquaintance.
The pleasure may remain yours.
Shall I be assuming, given the slightly strange awakening we had, that you and Ardre have been talking for a little bit longer?
Silence. And then, yes, Ardre is now our friend.
That is good. I consider Ardre a friend as well.
oh, good. Here, hold out your hand.
Ardre, am I right in guessing that you told them something of why we were out here?
just that we were trying to find out how people were living out here.
That's that is a good start. And by any chance, did they mention anything about anyone else?
No, just how they were getting along.
Very well then. First, turns their attention back to the leader. Gatha, if I may be so bold as to ask, do you know if anyone else outside the walls has been around the vicinity of Arcala as of late?
Warren, at this, go ahead and make a perception check. Let's see if you finally wake up.
Come on,
and
stay
ongoing
asleep.
conversations.
I want him to wake up and be like, oh man, I had a great night's sleep. What?
Yeah.
Perception, right? Or perception? Okay.
Perception. Yep.
Come on. Oh, it was 15.
Okay.
Oh,
So, Warren, you do hear a conversation. You hear Urist's voice. You hear Adre's voice. What do you do?
So he's like, he hasn't like fully woken up. He's like, could you please keep it down? I'm trying to get some shut eye here. Have a lot of
you hear Clume just say, "Oh shit."
Oh shit!
Sorry, we'll try to be a little more quiet.
And then like,
Roll over and go back to
Just
Rolls over. Yep.
rolls
You can see the one that was in charge of Warren just is nervously shifting there for a moment.
It's like, yeah, he just rolls over, goes back to sleep.
First turns his attention back. Her attention back to Gatha.
Okay. Gatha considers the question after the brief interruption of Warren waking up and then promptly falling back asleep. And slowly begins to walk over,
To kick Warren in the head.
silently gliding past Warren.
Just glides over
Till
Warren
she
to like
stands
the
about
robes
here.
flow over his face. He just kind of sneezes and keeps sleep.
Yeah, when he sneezes, she like her head snaps over. Like all of their heads snap over to Warren.
Clume sarcastically says, "Heavy sleeper."
Sleeper.
You should sleep heavier
Sleep heavier.
or quieter. One
Or
of them mumbles.
permanently.
Cannot say you're wrong.
Gatha tilts her head and she says, "Yes, there are others."
In that case, I have one further question. I'm going to need to get up to ask her, but my hands will nae touch steel.
You may stand quietly.
Ernst carefully rises, and of course she doesn't sleep in armor since she's medium armored. She
Yep.
moves on over to where Warren left the rock.
Yep.
Perfect.
Carefully takes the surprisingly heavy rock up and lugs it back around and sets it down in front of the fire,
Oh no,
turning it so that the rune on it is visible in the firelight. By any chance, has anyone you've seen wander in the wilds as of late been drawing any of these about?
The leader turns. She looks at the rock, and immediately there is a kind of a flurry of small motions as the silent communication bounces back and forth. If you'd like, you can roll an insight check. All of you that are awake.
Oh,
Certainly.
okay. Insight.
Oh man.
I got a 15.
Okay,
I got a 12.
very nice.
14.
Very good. Good rolls all around. It seems that Gatha is acting accusatorily. And you can kind of see very, very small gestures of defense from her nomads, from those around her.
I just want to ask this because I am small PP brain.
Okay.
Well, what does accusatory mean?
She's blaming them for something.
Oh,
In the manner
okay.
of accusing.
Yeah. Seems to be accusing them, and they're like, no, I didn't do it.
I didn't write this on a
You know,
rock.
stuff like that. Yeah.
Ernst is going to attempt to mollify them so we can get towards the answers. Oh, nope, sorry, wrong one.
Yep, okay.
That's not the one. Persuasion. There it is.
All right,
Sorry.
very good. And what are you trying to persuade?
I'm used to diplomacy rolls, so I clicked on the first D one.
Yeah.
He's not.
All right. 18,
Here we go,
18 persuasion.
I mean, if I got
Okay.
asleep.
And what are you trying to persuade? What are you trying to do?
It seems you at least recognize it. Peace. There's nothing I have against you to say about it, but perhaps you'd like to hear more about where I found it?
Yes. If you tell us where you found this, we will tell you who did it.
Good. That's just the sort of exchange I was hoping for. Oh, but where are my manners? I do not know if you eat or drink anything, nor if you feel safe enough around us to do so, but I would invite you to share our fire in warmth and safety, at least for the evening, should you wish.
The further that we are from you, the less chance we catch your stench.
Erst shrugs. Fair enough, I suppose. The one I'm wearing perhaps isn't the best one in my collection. So, around the walls of Arkala, not too far out from them, we found a small clearing in which someone had been practicing this sort of runic magic. It looks like they had been working on runes that made things heavier and let them catch on fire. It seemed that they had been practicing to the extreme, had not been making necessarily a lot of success. Much of what we found was half-formed and wasn't working right.
Silence from them.
Erst grins just a little bit. Now, this isn't the first time that I've seen the magic of the runes, though it's not something that I have any skill in personally. We're wondering if perhaps there is another magic user, rare as they are within the walls, who might be stalking about the city for a means either good or ill.
Yes. This magic. It is good that we have become friends with Adre. It is magic that can be taught through various difficulty. It is magic of shapes that draws power into the thing in which it is inscribed. She gestures to the nomad by Adre, who pulls his glove up, and you can see that there is very pale flesh underneath, pale, slightly bluish, and there is a line that mirrors yours, Adre, on your hand, on their hand. We use this sparingly. What this is, I am not sure you should know. This is practice. These symbols are simple ones that we teach the young, and if they are able to infuse things with this magic, then we continue their training. If they fail, no problem. They train in other ways to be of use to the nomads. Once in a while, someone is born with too much power. This, I believe, is their work.
Aye, that would make sense given the rest of what we saw. First, let's that hang there.
Yeah, and hang it does. And
It does.
The Gotha slowly kneels down and picks up the rock. With some effort, you see. And
That's with my rock boy.
slides her fingers of her other hand across the rune. And you can see immediately that the rock becomes lighter. Like, the difficulty with which they are holding it lessens. And the rune fades away.
Oh no, my rock!
Warren's poor rock!
My poor rock!
You say you found this just outside your walls.
Aye, I do indeed.
To kill Balboa.
It was towards an area that also looked like it had been used fairly recently as a campsite. Someone had a bit of a fire going. More than that, not too far off, we found more complex runes to what looks to be, to all purposes, to all appearances, a darker purpose.
Yes, one of my nomads did tell me about a tree.
Oh no, tree bro.
You've seen it yourself then, or at least one of you have.
Yes. We know runic magic is malleable, but that also makes it very dangerous.
Aye. And especially as the tree the tree, from what we've seen of it, seems to be growing stronger.
Oh. There is another long episode of silence where Gotha turns to each of her compatriots, seems to be questioning them.
Uh-oh.
One of them
Stronger.
makes a small gesture with their hand, which you see is like them drawing their thumb across their neck.
Mhm.
And Gotha shakes her head and gestures to Audrey. And she says out loud, "We have made a friend among this group.
Not the rock.
I am bound to let them live."
Oh.
And I assure you, we be appreciating it.
Very much.
Very well. We shall tell you a story. The rest of the group slowly meander over to kind of cluster up and effectively stand by. Some of them face in other directions to kind of watch the path, watch the area, as Gotha stands stoic and silent, the only sound her voice, resonating gently across the space. She says, "The nomads come from the original people of Vanzir, long before the various beasts became so large. It is here we once were civilized, like the people of Arkala. But a calamity came. A disaster that has not been seen since, and hopefully will never be seen again. This calamity shattered the various peoples of Arkala and sent them scurrying for holes and walls. Long ago, after the calamity, a dragon made a pact with the leader of Arkala at the time to give them walls that would never fall. This protected the then small village, and the people of Arkala have slowly grown to what you see now. Meanwhile, we nomads survive. We live as best we can, telling our sons and daughters the way to survive in the wilderness beyond, because we are forbidden from crossing the walls of Arkala and the other places. For good reason. I will not say that our nomad people are free of sin. It was our king. Our king that declared war upon all of the civilized people of Arkala.
Oh.
It is good that you found me, and not one of his groups, lest you would not have woken.
Man.
So then I take it the king declaring war was more recent than not?
No, this was very long ago. And yet, he still lives. And do you know what he sends to wage this war?
I have a worrying thought.
He's in control of the monsters.
Yes, he has found a way to direct these monsters. Monsters born of the calamity, beasts that are much larger than they ever should have become. Each one a natural disaster in its own right. And each one, the various people that still survive in Arkala, must simply survive.
Worrying and then some this is, but good tidings to have at least.
Well, it is few in Arkala that know the reason for their death. At least now, perhaps, you will find that you will remember our people. And brace yourselves for what is to come.
I need to go find a library.
Ernest nods. I don't suppose there are many more groups such as yourselves who are not making war on behalf of the king, are there?
We are few and far between, and we do not communicate with many others, for if they learn the nature of the disparate groups, then we would, one by one, be eradicated.
Understood. But you bear no allegiance to him yourself, then?
Not as far as long as I can stay away from his influence.
Ah. Well, if I do have anything to say about it, we shall not be forgetting you again, Gotha of the Nomads.
Yes. And we will not forget you, friend of Adre. If you must, you use that mark to call upon us. And we will help you.
First nods. There remains a question that goes unanswered. You said there is one with power of the runes, perhaps too much power. Is this one that you know of? None that stand here, I presume.
Yes. It is the heir of the king.
Oh.
Ah, and they be nearby. Or near enough so it's such as to be worrying.
We should go. We have been here long enough, and your stench is too much for this land.
Oh. Warren's not that
There is
smelly.
there is a season that comes. A great lizard will likely make a visit to Arkala soon.
Oh boy.
Thank you for the warning. It is much appreciated. And looking at the others, and then with something of a helpless shrug. And sorry about the scent.
Look,
You will
Warren,
learn soon enough. If ever your walls come falling down, you will all need to be more mindful of how you smell and how you sound.
Aye, 'tis sensible. If you don't mind offering just a touch of advice to a gal who is interested, do you avoid the scent with mud or something more sophisticated?
Gatha's head tilts, and she looks to the rest. She looks back to you. Enjoy your walls, friends of Adre, while they last. And with that, they take a single step backwards. And all of them disappear in unison, like fog dissipating into the wind.
As soon as they all disappear, Clume immediately runs over to Audrey and just
he's collapsing back onto his seat.
Even newbie.
and she like kind of like check him to see if like they did anything to him. Would Audrey show her the mark, or would she have to like look?
No,
for
he'll
it?
show them all. This is that whole zombie bite in an apocalypse movie.
Yeah.
You don't hide it.
Clume kind of so I'm going to cast Cure Wounds, but she's gonna kind of like direct a majority of the healing energy into that mark to see if it could possibly get rid of it.
Okay.
I think the mark is a good thing.
Oh, to wait, right, do it. 7. You heal 7 hit points.
Yeah, so you heal your hit points, you focus your magic on closing the wound, but there is no... obviously damage has been done, but closing the wound doesn't get rid of the mark. It is looking closely at it, you can see it's kind of like a thin almond shape. The tapers on either end where the knife slashed through, and it shows up on both the palm and the back of the hand. Healed, it takes on a kind of dark gray coloration that sets rather stark against Audrey's otherwise pale skin.
Erst briefly approaches and gives a nod. Aye, that be a strange little thing, isn't it? One moment here, lad. Sorry. One moment here, fella. We've got something we can do about this, or at the least, to get a closer look here. And I think this one is worth the expenditure.
Okay, what you gonna do?
I
go ahead and cast Detect Magic.
Okay. You detect magic. It is absolutely magical.
Yep. Once Erst has cast, she looks it over and gives a little nod. Aye. It certainly be magic, and unless I'm missing my guess, another squint, sort of a tilting of the head back and forth. So, GM, are we talking divination, conjuration,
enchantment?
Oh,
interesting.
Clume kind of like closes Audrey's hand into a fist, and she kind of stands up, and she says, "We need to go see Lord Danior."
Aye, lass, that be about right.
Yeah.
But I don't think we'll be getting anywhere while it's still this dark. Luckily, we're only one day out from the city, and we can return whence we came as soon as we can.
Okay.
Erst replaces the rock on the spot where Warren left it.
That's good. Man, Warren's gonna watch. He's not even gonna know. He's gonna carry it all the way back, looking at all these rocks, and be like, "Wait a minute, where's the mark?"
Wait a minute.
You lost some weight.
Yeah.
You're working out.
My little rock friend's on a diet.
Look at that.
Okay. Do you return to bed, or what do you do?
Clume's going to sit next to Audrey and kind of just. She sits and she's like, I'll stay up another hour with you. It seems like you need the extra eyes.
Yeah, I didn't do too good on the whole lookout thing, did I?
No, you rolled a critical one. You got no sense that they were coming.
It's deep the nerves.
So Clume will stay up with Audrey for the rest of the first watch, I guess you would call it.
Mm-hmm.
Maybe half of the second watch and then go back to sleep.
Very good. You get the rest of your sleep. No problems there. It goes by eventlessly. Eventually, you start to hear the chirping of birds before the sun truly rises. And then it does. And little by little, the world is illuminated in the glow of the sun. The thing that's perhaps shocking to most of you is how bright the sun is in the morning. When you live in the walls, you don't really see the risen sun until it's already, closer to 10 or 11 in the afternoon.
Oh, that's true.
And because the walls obscure it for most of the morning and most of the evening. So here, it's more like 8, and the sunlight gets through your eyelids and is bright and helps you wake up earlier than you might otherwise.
Actually, that reminds me, I wanted to make a quick note of it because Ernst does indeed have paper and writing utensils. Ernst is going to write down a few things before going back to bed.
Perfect. Yeah, that's no problem. You get enough light out of the embers of the fireplace that you can do that, no problem.
Mm-hmm. Just want to defend my otherwise perfect memory.
Sure, of course. So you all wake up. Adre, there's a little bit of a phantom ache in your hand, but otherwise, no issues. What do you do?
Me? Oh, I get up and start preparing for the trip back.
Okay, and the rest of you as well?
Mm-hmm.
So getting the armor on first things first.
Yep.
Oh yes, and casting mage armor, of course.
Of course. He gets up. He does a mighty stretch. Little sleep bubble pops.
Yeah.
Sits straight up. I'm like, No, I never noticed. You never really appreciate the sun until you're outside the walls, I have to say. Yes. He gets up. He gets changed in his armor. He's all chipper and everything. Gets his bedroll rolled together. Like...
Yep.
He's looking around, just like oblivious to what has happened. He goes, to his pet rock. He picks it up. He's like, well, this is strange. I don't remember Rocky being so light. And so,
that would be because the friends we met last night put him on a diet.
Oh, well, how quaint. That's, didn't realize rocks could eat. Interesting. The fact, friends we met last night, right over his head.
Yeah. More concerned with Rocky. Yep. Yeah.
It's like, didn't know what rocks could eat? Huh. Do you happen to know what that diet is? I don't want him to get overweight. I didn't even know rocks were the things you had to feed.
Oh, I don't believe you have to feed him. I'm afraid I was pulling your leg a little there, lad.
He looks at his leg. He's like,
just give Rocky a little salt every now and again.
I see.
Bloom already has her things packed, and she starts to look out at the road ahead that they're gonna have to take back.
Mm-hmm. Okay. Ernst helps out, of course, and we finish packing on up. And in the meantime, Ernst eventually does indeed see fit to explain rather directly. So, we're heading back to town because we encountered a bunch of nomads out in the wilderness last night. You slept right through the entire thing, but we got the information we need, and now we're heading back for the safety of the walls.
Oh, I see. I hope it was pleasant. Thank you for not waking me up. I do get a little cranky when I get woken up in the middle of the night. I'm sure they were pleasant. He's got Rocky slung under his arm.
They complained about our smell, didn't want to share our fire.
They stabbed me.
But they stabbed him, but at least they made friends.
Well, it's odd. I don't know why you would let them stab you, or why would you? But what? As long as you worked it out, I'm sure that that's all good. It's all good at the end.
You all almost got your throat slit. It's fine.
What kind of games were you playing? My goodness, I've never heard of anything that required you to get your throat slit.
In the meantime, just for clarification, we do indeed begin the march back towards town.
Oh yeah.
Very good. And so you do just that. You pack up your camp supplies and you hit the trail, following the trail that you made to get to this point to head back. It feels odd to be, already heading back after the people that you were seeking came to you. On the way back, as you're making lunch, Quinn arrives.
Oh.
Oh.
and you all have an opportunity, or at least you will next session, to catch up and exchange notes.
Right before we end, the moment Kloom sees Quinn, she instantly just breaks away from everyone else, runs up and gives him the fattest fucking hug ever.
My man
The
squeezes
fattest hug
back.
ever. Yep. So next week, hopefully we'll be able to have Starion with us, and we'll be able to catch them up on all of the shenanigans that you guys got up tonight. I know that was a bit of a lore-heavy session, but I'm glad you guys finally got to stab something.
Yeah.
And here's, I think, the most important thing that happened this session is you've all leveled up.
Oh,
Level
yeah.
4. Level 4, right?
Let's go.
Level 4, yes.
Level 4.
Level
Delightful.
4.